What's going on, guys? Gamer Dude back once again, bringing you some more informative gaming news. But before we begin, y'all know the routine. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. So, today we are going to be discussing Insomniac Games and the rumour that's been floating around that they are working on a third game alongside Marvel Spider-Man 2 and the yet-to-be-released Wolverine game. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down everything I found on this, throwing in a bit of discussion, and just generally letting you know the news. So let's get right into things. New information does indeed suggest that Insomniac Games is developing a third game alongside Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. Now, Insomniac have been responsible for some bangers over the years. You know, of course, recently we've had Spider-Man, they've done Ratchet and Clank, Sunset Overdrive, the Resistance Fall of Man series. Originally they did Spyro the Dragon. So it's safe to say that Insomniac have thrown out some bangers over the years. Now, we don't actually know what game they're working on alongside Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, but one could stand to reason that it could possibly be a sequel, remake, or remaster of one of these iconic titles. Me personally, even though I'm not too fond of first-person games, I would love to see a Resistance Fall of Man remake. Or, you know, perhaps the game they're working on is actually a DLC for Spider-Man 2, because it would stand to reason that the first game got DLC, so why wouldn't the second? Maybe the DLC will feature Venom. We'll get a playable Venom, which would be super cool and super dope. I've mentioned that before in a previous video. Do check that out if you haven't already. But anyway, yeah, the information does indeed suggest that Insomniac are developing a new game. And, of course, Spider-Man 2 is set to release later this year on October 20th. While Wolverine doesn't have a set launch window, Insomniac Games shared a lengthy gameplay demo of Marvel Spider-Man 2 at this year's PlayStation Showcase, and it recently released a new story trailer for the game. So there seems to be a ton of hype for both titles, but it looks like Insomniac Games is also working on this third yet unannounced title. Now, the project director over at Insomniac Games has confirmed they are working on this unannounced title, but didn't divulge any information. Now, fans should note that things can change at any moment during the development process when it comes to video games. So we really should, or we really do rather, have to wait for Sony and Insomniac to reveal any official information on this title. So anything I say in this video, you should really take with a grain of salt at this moment in time. But it is highly likely that Insomniac Games are definitely working on multiple projects at the same time. It would be silly of them to just concentrate and focus solely on getting Spider-Man or Wolverine just right. You know, they're going to be working on other stuff as well. Many developers are obviously working on more than one title at a time, so you wouldn't think Insomniac would just work on a single one. Now, a majority of Insomniac's team will be working on Spider-Man and Wolverine, while the other half of the team will be working on other projects. I mean, I heard somewhere that Tomb Raider might be coming back, but I don't know if that's going to be under Insomniac's control or someone else's control. So it would stand to reason that they're working on one of their past titles, you know, for a follow-up or a sequel, so Ratchet and Clank or Resistance, for example. But it's safe to say we will have to wait possibly a year, maybe 2 years for an announcement, given, you know, Spider-Man and Wolverine's upcoming debuts. And then we'll probably have to wait another 2 years after that for the game to actually be released. But regardless of when it actually releases, this new game will likely be a PS5 exclusive, as is becoming the norm for most games releasing now. I mean, I guess the exception might be if it ends up being a multiplayer-focused live service title, as Sony previously revealed plans to release live service games on both PS5 and PC at launch, which would allow the game to reach a much wider audience. Now, fans have already seen this policy in action, as Helldivers 2, Fair Games, and Concord are also coming to PC on day one. Now, this next part is quite interesting because a job posting from 2022 has revealed that Insomniac Games is hiring for a multiplayer project. So could they be potentially reviving Marvel's Avengers? Could that be the third project they're working on? Because I do think that Marvel's Avengers died before its time. You know, even if they don't work on the already existing Marvel's Avengers, which has now stopped, it's been shut down, could they potentially make their own version of the Avengers and make it live service? You know, copy the original formula, but like make it their own so they can link it to the Insomniac Spider-Man universe, because Avengers Tower is in Spider-Man, you know, and Spider-Man references the Avengers never been around, you know, that they're on the East Coast or something. And, you know, that is where the Avengers from Marvel's Avengers were. You know, they were on the East Coast. So you never know. That's just me throwing some out there. That's just me speculating. But I would love to see more Marvel characters appear in the Marvel Spider-Man world. As I think there's a good chance we could see a small cameo from Wolverine in Spider-Man 2. Whether it be, I don't know, a post-credit scene or a small side mission, you know, and he's just there in the background, or we have a small interaction with him or something. But yeah, it stands to reason they're going to set that up. So why wouldn't they set anything else up? However, as I've also mentioned, it could also be a new release in the Ratchet & Clank series, or simply a completely new IP from Insomniac Games. As Insomniac are well known for what they do, but they haven't really, with the exception of Spider-Man, of course, they haven't really, over the last few years, released any new IPs. You know, they haven't remade any of their previous IPs. You know, they've just followed on from them. You know, they've just given them sequels, like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, for example. You know, they haven't followed on from any of their other previous titles. But yeah, I'm rambling now. I'm gonna stop. But anyway, there's a lot that they can do in the future. You know, there's so much potential for Insomniac Games after the success of Spider-Man. You know, Spider-Man is still selling copies worldwide right now, and one can stand to reason that, you know, it's gonna keep going, especially with the soon to be release of Spider-Man 2. But yeah, that I think just about covers it, unless you want me to go into detail on all of Insomniac's previous titles, in which case we'll be here all day. Yeah, that just about covers it. I'm sorry it's not much of an upload, it's not a lot of information, it's mostly just blah 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 blah. But the rumour's there, you know, that they are working on a third game alongside Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. So who knows what it is? Let me know down in the comments what you think it is. Personally, I think it could actually be a new Ratchet and Clank game, because as well as Spider-Man, that is one of their most popular series. I doubt at this point they're going to bring back any of their old ones, you know, like Resistance, Fall of Man, for example, which, again, I'm not a fan of first-person games, but I would love to see that return because I did quite enjoy the story. Also stands to reason that they won't do Spyro now because Spyro's owned by someone else entirely. You know, they've done other games as well, but again, it's highly doubtful they will remake or remaster any of those because, you know, licensing and changing hands and everything. So it's all very complicated in the gaming world at the moment. But yeah, that's it for the video then. Thank you all for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Stay tuned because there is a lot coming from me in the coming weeks. Once I get my finances sorted out, that is. Yeah, we've got the Horizon Forbidden West DLC to come, Star Trek Resurgence, the new Telltale game, The Expanse. Next month on PS Plus, Dreams is going to be free to download, so expect to see some videos on that because you guys know I like building and creating stuff like that, so there'll be some videos on that. And of course, when Spider-Man 2 comes out, you'll definitely get some gameplay on that. And I've got the collector's edition, so I will be doing an unboxing video as well. But yeah, that's it for this video then. But before we go, you know the routine. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. So that being said then, this has been Gamer Dude. Happy gaming, and I will catch you all in the next one, guys.